I don't. You know what? Let's just dive into the halftime show.
Do it.
Dude, I think that is, I don't care what any of y'all say. Stop listening to this podcast. It is top 10.
Top 10?
I loved it.
Welcome back to episode Who Knows Where the Fuck We Are in episode numbers because we took 2 months off.
So much for not cussing.
I just, you know what?
He just got angry.
New year, new me.
New year, new me.
Now that it's February.
Let me take the dust off of this stuff here and make sure we're still good. We're back, you know?
February 12th. We're only, we're on a 4-month hiatus. Call it a vacation.
I think the last episode we were still talking about who you're voting for. And
it was before the election.
It was before the election. We were at a venue. We were doing big things, and now we're here. Trump is your president now.
That's it.
Trump is the president now.
Congratulations to all the Republicans that voted and all the Democrats that voted, and everybody's looking to see what he's going to do with his time in office and if it's going to be similar to what his first term was. But either way, I think it's a lot of people have said it's a breath of fresh air.
Man, there's some checks and balances going on right now, and watching the news has been pretty exciting. It is a drama show like I've always expected it to be.
Oh, for sure.
Everyone is still upset. I mean, if the country voted but the fact that you still see every day in the news is something else, just bad. I can't believe he's doing this. I can't believe he's doing that. Yet again, it wasn't that way the other way around. So we'll see. Hopefully it's not just a drama show, and I hope people start to give some kind of insight and respect, but we'll see how it goes. You know, right now we're in for the long haul. We got 4 years to go. So I'm still hoping we have a podcast from years from now.
I mean, as long as we kind of stick to our schedule, I think we can just keep making our podcast. I don't think he's going to affect that.
It wasn't for lack of not wanting to do the podcast. I think it was our schedules got busy. We're in the middle of WEF season. Equestrian season is here. We've been literally pumping out 4 events a week.
At least.
So the event business is we're in season.
Yeah.
Obviously, real estate is doing well.
Yes, it is.
A lot of consumer confidence is back, and I do see a lot of things moving. We get a lot of phone calls, a lot of apps. I mean, right now it's almost the time to refi. It's again depending on where you're at. During the holidays, the U.S. accumulated so much credit card debt. So I get a lot more phone calls right now, not for purchases, but for refinancing to consolidate debt, because more people have more equity right now. And maybe they don't have that 3% and 4% that a lot of the country has when they did the refi during that COVID time. So you'll see a lot of people in that 6%, 7% range who are like, hey, I have a 30% credit card. I want to consolidate.
Absolutely.
So I'm seeing a lot of those. And if you're listening to this podcast, you're in that situation, you own a home and you find yourself with $50,000, $60,000 in debt, you're going to see how much money you can save by consolidating that debt, whether a home equity line of credit, and keep your low interest rate if you do have that kind of interest rate, or we just refinance your house, and just pull the cash out and use the equity to help you.
What are you saying to the people that are calling you and we call them the locked in group, right? The sellers that have those sub 3% interest rates, but they're still in the same position, like you said, with having credit card debt at 26, 28, 30% interest.
I'm really praying that they have great credit scores, because, a lot of those home equity line of credit programs that they should get, because at the end of the day, home equity line of credit, it's the same thing as borrowing against your home. It's like refinancing, but you're keeping your first interest rate still at 2%.
There you go.
So you got to go with a blended, or we call it an effective rate, which is your first rate plus your second rate, and divide that out, right? That's really kind of where you're sitting at in a rate. But you also got to consider your first rate is probably, let's say, $300,000. We're only going to borrow $100,000 to consolidate debt. So that's also, that blended rate is also kind of not even accurate, because your first rate just still has so much weight on that first mortgage. So it depends on the situation, how we present it, or your selling points. But if you are in a 2, 3, even a 4% interest rate, and the interest rate today is still 6%, whatever, for cash out, or it's at 5.5%, wherever the market is at the day we take an application. Again, that changes by the minute at this point. we are still pushing individuals in that situation to home equity line of credit or a second mortgage.
Yeah. And I mean, it makes sense when you start running your numbers. Everybody they live on their monthly budget and what their number of every month looks like. I know mine, it's not a pretty number, but everybody's going to look at that and figure out, okay, well, if I'm paying, we talked about averages on the credit cards are around that 28% interest rate, and you're making minimum payments just to be able to stay current on it. Credit scores are still going to get affected by high balances on your credits.
High balances crush your credit.
So, whether you're paying minimum payments at 30% or you have, $10, $12, $13,000 in outstanding credit card bills, take that over to a home equity line of credit that's not going to, kill your credit usage, and still pay it off little by little. Hopefully you have a great year in business and you're able to pay it off sooner. Most of these, do any of these have penalties for early payoffs on any of those stuff?
Not unless you're an investment property.
Yeah.
Investment properties are the ones, but again, if you're an investment property, you should be in a pretty decent position.
You'd like to
unless
think,
you're in the Airbnb category, and those are getting crushed right now.
What a tank market that looks like right now. Nobody. I mean, I know you and your brother, you guys own a couple investment properties that are Airbnb'd and
the areas are not affected.
Good.
So, but I mean, I know some people have out-of-state properties are getting crushed.
Yep.
The local market is saturated, so you're getting you're just getting crushed right now.
It was a great idea. It was a great concept when it first came out. Everybody wants to feel the comfort of home when they're on vacation. But it was, for me, I think it was the fees that come along with it. You look at what looks like it's going to be affordable at $120, $130 a night. And by the time you're said and done at 5 days, it's $1,200, $1,300.
I also think, like anything else, people abused it. There was people renting houses to throw parties. Sure. And then they started looking at the loopholes and how can I had somebody call me the other day. They're like, oh, here's this VRBO. We're throwing a party here. I was like, I'm not doing it.
No.
There's no chance. There is no chance I'm showing up to somebody's rental and then I get in trouble. Yeah. Like, I don't know, like, the liability on that. I was like, no, thanks.
Did you ever hear anybody or talk to anybody that was doing the Airbnb arbitrage where they would find a rental property that was on the market on, let's say, Zillow or Realtor or apartments.com, and it was a private landlord. They would go into a 12-month lease with that landlord and then furnish the property and sublet it out under like an Airbnb VRBO?
No, I've heard of that situation. I've seen it promoted online, but I mean, how legal is that?
It's all whatever your lease terms are.
Is that in the lease?
It is in the lease.
Because that's what I don't. That the contract.
I just wrote a lease on a property, which I don't do a whole lot. I don't do a whole lot of rental situations, but I represented a landlord and was able to get them a tenant in their property. Going through the lease, there's a whole section that talks about subleasing or anything like that, whether it's permitted or not permitted, and that's a conversation.
Something they sign.
Yeah. You have to have that conversation with the tenant up front. There were landlords that weren't going through the process with a realtor that knew how to fill out the lease and could give them the advice. And on the back end, they were going to check on the house and finding just some random, little short-term Airbnb.
Could you imagine? You rent out your house. You're expecting a family of 4 to live there.
Right.
And then all of a sudden you get into the house and you go check on it or you're whatever. And it's like, you have 8 people living there or you have a party going on.
Yep.
Yeah, that'd be crazy. I'd be pretty upset.
I would too, which is why I don't think I have any interest in buying rental properties. I think I'm a fix and flip guy. I'll buy a house, I'll fix it up, I'll put it back on the market. I don't want to.
What do you feel about the fix and flip market? Do you think there's enough? The problem is the foreclosures, right? So you're expecting to have the distressed sales,
right?
So you're expecting to go from a point of someone and like I said, we call it distress sales. We say it's a situation in which the individual can't afford the home anymore,
right.
And they're trying to flip or get rid of it, right? Which also crushes the actual sales in general or the value of your block, if you want to say.
Yeah.
And hopefully you can say it's a distress sale, in an appraisal or something and find better comps, right? We're just hoping you have that one.
Yep.
Foreclosures are still not high yet. We're not seeing a big foreclosure rate. And I think so many people are holding on. I saw someone's TikTok or on Instagram the other day where they were like, God, I want out of this house. They're in like 1,500 square feet or, whatever, trying to get out. They have a family of 4 living in it. And then they're like, but my interest rate is 2%.
Right. Right.
Why am I going to leave?
That's that locked in seller market that we talked about that just has such a comfortable interest rate. They can't justify it.
I just don't see the foreclosures coming. We don't. When everyone says the market's going to crash, and again, there's all speculations and all kind of our opinions on this. But when someone starts talking about market crashing and starts, oh, I'm waiting for this bubble. I don't know what you guys are waiting for still. I think you guys need to get off the fence, get your butts off the wall, and really start contemplating moving forward. Consumer confidence is through the roof right now.
Absolutely.
And I don't think waiting is your thing anymore.
No.
I think you got to get off the wall. Do you qualify? Do you have the down payment? Let's move forward. Let's pull equity out of your house. Let's buy something. I think if we keep on doing that and reinvesting into the market, and I know you're not a big proponent of, of the whole investing, but it's
not on long-term investments. Mine is going to be something quick and like I said, a fix and flip. And I have been, not that the foreclosure market is starting to go up, but I have been getting a ton of emails and inquiries for cash offers on properties from people that bought within the last 4 years that are upside down. And these properties, I'm looking at their values compared to what they paid for in 2021, 2022. The market was hot. Buyers were all out in droves looking to buy houses with limited inventory. And now these people overpaid for homes for two reasons. Number one,
20,000, 40,000. What was your highest?
I had 60. I had a guy who we did an offer on a property, and we had an escalation clause in it that we were willing to go up 65 over asking, $65,000 over asking.
65 over asking.
And we ended up at 60,000 competing with 4 other offers. So, and with an escalation clause and an addendum on that, you have to be able to verify those numbers are accurate based on other offers. So not only did we see these other offers, and they were strong offers, they were cash offers, they were no inspections, no appraisal, like just dirty.
Bro, I saw some dirty
I mean,
stuff. I'm like, guys, I need the inspection.
Right.
I got to get insurance.
Right. I mean, these people were getting spicy.
I need a 4-point, please.
And
need a win mid.
And today you run the value on that home, and it is not going to appraise anywhere near what he paid for it after 2 years. And that's the offers that I'm seeing right now. And the people that are looking for cash offers to get out of their house, it tells me right on the lead form as financial hardship. These are people that overpaid for houses that they're just not able to afford today.
So are the banks now, I haven't run into this situation. Have you dealt with a bank on that? Are the banks settling?
I've had one situation with an offer that was a short sale. It was an approved short sale. So the bank was willing to take a little bit less than what was owed. And then I had another one where they were in pre-foreclosure, haven't gone through the process, or were trying to get to that to avoid that process. Right. And I was actually able to help her sell the house before she hit it.
Now, the banks, I will tell you from experience, they don't want to deal with foreclosures.
Heck no.
So after the whole drop, and again, going back, 08, 09,
right.
I don't think, and I think that's the bubble everyone's looking for. They're like, this bubble. I mean, the supply and demand, there is a lot more, obviously, homes. There's a lot more listings. Inventory is booming right now. So yes, have you seen a little bit of drop in price? There are some. There are some.
I've had to do price reductions on my own
reductions, offers back, cash back. So because of inventory, because the rates haven't moved. The rates aren't doing, this. You had this little spikes.
Right.
Last week, we had a big spike and the rates dropped for like 30 days or for like 30 seconds, some 30 days. And then it goes like this. So if you're not, again, actively watching the market and seeing what the rates are doing back and forth, it is, I guess it's hard to determine whether the price of the homes are going to continue to rise or fall. Because if interest rates fall,
prices are going to start to go back up.
Prices are going to go back up.
Yep.
If the interest rate stays where it's at, then the prices, I think, will either stay the same or, like you said, continue to have a short decline.
I mean, and the sellers that are selling, and I've been saying this for months, the sellers that are selling are serious about moving. They're not testing the market. They're not putting houses up for these obscene prices just to see if we get it. That's not happening today. Now the people that are listing their homes are serious about moving. They have a purpose and a reason for putting their house up for sale, and they're being realistic about values. My sellers are all open to the conversation where we're going to start here at what we think perceived market value is, and we'll have a conversation in 14 to 20
realistic
days.
Value. I used to be like, that's not realistic, and they're like, I'm not selling my house for less. Either I close. I mean,
I don't
and
take
that was
those
the
listings.
attitude. That was the attitude. What was it? 3 years ago?
Yeah.
About 3 years ago. That was the attitude. I mean, going from where we left off on the podcast to come now, like I said, about what 2 months or change, right? Like I said, in the last 2 months, we have seen definitely an increase in calls, business. People are just actively looking, which again has everything to do where guys just get off the fence. I think everyone should be actively calling your loan officers, calling your brokers, calling your friends, and finding out what's going on in the market. Actively looking. I think everyone, just.
I just saw stats today. I mean, so 2 things that I saw today. Number 1, Jerome Powell announced that the Fed is not doing any cuts, not doing anything. So that means that these interest rates here are not going anywhere. They're not going to go up. Hopefully, they're not going to go down. We don't know. But he's not making any cuts, and that's all reflected within that Fed cut. So he said that's not happening. We should see interest rates stabilizing where we are now, somewhere in this ballpark. Number 2, going back to always be shopping. Going back to always being shopping, Zillow owns 60% of all of the online searches for homes. 60% out of the Realtor.com, Redfin, Homes.com, who just did a huge Super Bowl push and spent something like $32 million on Super Bowl ads.
Really?
To try and gain some more market value. You cannot beat Zillow. I hate Zillow. You can't beat Zillow. They own 60% of everybody sitting on their phones scrolling through houses for sale, which means
everyone uses Zillow.
Even the person that's sitting there scrolling through TikTok, they're going to switch over and look at Zillow. They're going to find out what house is for sale on their block. They're going to drive. They're going to see a for sale sign in their neighbor's front yard. They're going to be curious to what they're getting, and they're going to have the conversation. Is it time for us to sell?
Because you got the Zillow estimator, you got the rental estimator. How accurate are those numbers? Zestimate
is never accurate. Never, ever, 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 ever accurate. It is within the ballpark, and I usually tell people it's usually a little high, but it's somewhere within the $25,000 to $30,000 range.
You think it's high?
Plus or minus, yeah.
So mine was very low.
Really?
Mine was low, but I think mine didn't consider.
It also fluctuates. So perfect example is yesterday on one of my listings, I had to do a price reduction, and I checked Zillow before I did the price reduction just to see. I wanted to check, number 1, the views of how many people had looked at the listing on Zillow, how many people had saved it, and I do that usually every day to give my sellers some kind of a report back. So I looked at those numbers, and I glanced at what the Zestimate was. I did the price reduction on the MLS. It took about 4 or 5 minutes for it to reflect on Zillow, and I checked again, and the Zestimate went down. So the price reduction I did was from $779 to $749.
Okay.
And the Zestimate went from $763 to $749.
So it does go down.
It goes down, but not in relation to what the actual price drop was. Like if you think that the Zestimate at one point when I had it listed at full price was up here, and then it's supposed to fluctuate down the $40,000 that we dropped the price, and it doesn't do that. It just goes to show you that there's no rhyme or reason behind that number.
I wonder what the algorithm is, how it calculates that. Does it not paying attention? Like, who knows? I feel like, and then I think that's just like a loaded gun, because then someone's going to call and be like, Zillow doesn't say your house is worth this.
I know.
Then you had an appraiser go out, and then they're arguing with the appraiser, like Zillow.
The appraiser is definitely not using Zillow.
The appraiser is not using Zillow, guys.
If he is, that's a bad appraiser.
It's a bad.
Which I think we've had the conversation. We should have an appraiser on for an episode or two to really give us some kind of insight where and how they process those numbers.
So as when we do classes, so every Wednesday, at different real estate offices, absolutely we teach classes.
Yeah.
And one of those classes we do an appraisal. So if anyone's ever interested in hearing that, well, obviously we can bring someone in.
Yeah.
One of our servicers in the area will come in and they can let you know what it is about, but definitely that's something that we do teach classes about.
I always feel like the appraisers are like secret agents, though, because they come and go so quickly in the property. They don't really want to have conversations with you while they're there.
It's based off data.
You can't talk to them through the process
because you can't influence their decision.
It's like a secret agent. You got to be like sneaky.
They come in, they take pictures, and then they're like, "Have a great day. I just need the pictures." I'm like, "Wait a minute. Did you see this upgrade? Did you happen to see the splash sides on the waterfall countertops here? You know." And
that's what I mean.
Yeah, but they take pictures and they're like, "Cool, it's been remodeled," or and now you can over remodel a house.
Sure can.
Which I never knew that. You can literally spend more money than anyone else in the whole neighborhood and have the most custom kitchen, the most custom bathrooms.
Yep.
$1 million in your backyard. That does not mean your house is worth $1 million. So whatever you put in upgrades, almost like your car or your boat, that you never get your money back.
No.
In the car market, woo, you guys want to talk about a market right now? Oh my gosh,
it was doing great. I mean, we both owned trucks.
Yeah,
at like the best time of the market, we bought them and they retained their value. We were able to trade them. They did.
I had bought my truck under market at the time. Through our connects, I had bought under market. So I thank goodness we didn't overpay for a truck. Yeah. But some people have paid $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 over these cars, and they're laughing because now they're going to trade these vehicles in, and they're like, "What do you mean my car? The values have just dumped."
Yep.
Dumped bad.
Sad.
It's super sad. There was a meme the other day. There was literally it was like a yacht. And then everyone's like just throwing money. Yeah. And everyone's like, car salesman 3 years ago.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Car salesman now. And they're like, help me.
Yep. Let's talk about what's going on in private events and stuff like that. I mean, we've been on break since November, and we started picking up. We talked about some of the holiday parties that were coming up and how many weddings and private events all kinds of stuff. And so since then, WEF season, Wellington Equestrian Facility International.
WEF is, if you guys have not been to WEF, you guys really should check it out. It's every Saturday night. Bring your family out. Yep. There is face painting. There is merry-go-rounds, and there is
food galore, all kinds of
food distributors. If they have private VIP tents and private dining areas, if you're looking to have a romantic evening, get some champagne. There's also a nightclub that we provide all the sound and lighting for, and the DJs for. You have sponsorship areas, you have vendors, sales. There's just stuff to do. Animal petting. I mean, there's a zoo, like a mini zoo. There's horses and pet stuff you can pet.
It's horse.
It is an amazing facility. They're under new management, new owners. So what's great about that is the new owner is so in touch because his family's a rider. He's a rider. And he's just so in touch with it. He has remodeled that facility. We have amazing lighting in the ring now. All the spotlights are full LED. They go with the show. The sound system's been upgraded. I mean, this guy went in there and just cleaned house. He goes, we're not doing this average stuff anymore. And he has upgraded that facility to world class. It's amazing.
It really is cool. And it's a good time too to watch. Like, I actually enjoy watching the horses jump. I didn't know if I would like it when we first started going there. So even now when I have to DJ, I'll show up a couple hours early, get out there, watch some of the horses.
It's cool. I mean, and people get into it.
They do.
Boy, they get into it. They're betting. They're like, let's go. They're screaming. And, because the polo matches are so different. Polo matches, everyone's involved with, their stuff. There's a lot of movement.
Right.
The horse jumping, everything's quiet.
Yep.
It's like what tennis is like that, right? Or like golf, right?
Yeah.
Everything's quiet where they're jumping. You hear the horses, just running and jumping, doing the jumps. And then you hit the little bar. It's like, boom, boom, boom. It's like the loudest sound in the world because it's pin drop quiet. And as soon as he hit that last jump, the place just ruptures and a big, audience clapping. Everyone's yelling. It is definitely cool.
And big purses too.
Big purses.
Big purses.
So they have different nights, 1 star to 5 star, I think it is. 5 star is like your big purses, $100,000, $300,000, $400,000. And we have the horse auction coming up too.
Oh, that's right.
The video horse auction. So they'll do that. I never knew what a horse auction was. And the horses go out there, they start doing their little dancing and their trots, and it's cool. And then you see people pay more for these horses than you do some houses. And I'm like, wow.
And they're not usually going to use those horses to go and jump, right? They're going to use them for breeding, or do they actually try?
No, those are maybe both.
Yeah.
both. I mean, I've seen them both.
I watch a lot of Yellowstone. I've seen a couple times where they go to the auction.
I still got my cowboy hat from Yellowstone. I'm gonna pop that thing out for the podcast.
That whole, I mean, that lifestyle, like the equestrian, equine, Wellington, it escapes me because I can't relate to it. I've never had an interest in horses other than just kind of watching them. And I've been on horseback riding tours and things like that, but these people are invested, man.
It is expensive.
And the boots.
These horses have, no, forget about the Hermes, beautiful, everything, leather, everything.
Yep.
The horses have planes. They fly the horses from one place to another on a plane. They don't trailer it like Yellowstone. You see, I'm going to drive in a trailer from Florida to Texas. No, they put up a horse on a custom plane that transports that horse to New York or wherever they're flying. That horse is flying first class. Get out of here.
I can't relate to that. I can't relate to that.
The horse stalls have like surround sound in them, like amazing, beautiful. Like they play background music. What's that stuff? They where they play like, when you're going to sleep and you're making that noises.
Oh, like the white noise.
Yeah, like white noise. Dude, I've seen some crazy things at some of these farms. Horses. Yeah, we've been fortunate enough to be at some of these farms and do events there. And the stuff I've seen, I'm just like, I don't understand it.
But it's a business like anything else. Yeah. I mean, we talked about the purses and the 1 to 2, 3, 4, 5 star. I mean, this past weekend, I think the purse was like $500,000 or something.
Yeah, it was something big like that. It was definitely big. It was a 5-star. It was packed. The nightclub was packed. Alex played. Alex pretty much plays every weekend there, unless we have a wedding or something that I need to transfer him to. Right. He's going to be at Top of the Rocks this Saturday. I'm not sure if we'll have this podcast out by then.
About that, I don't know if we will. Top of the Rocks is open and beautiful.
Top of the Rocks is beautiful. You guys have, check it out. It is an amazing venue. Have we done a grand opening yet? No.
We don't know if we will.
We don't know if we are. I don't even know. I'm in the background. So I'm helping, I guess, book DJs.
Yeah, you are.
I'm taking people I know that do well under a format. Some people I've never even heard play, but just everyone says, use these guys. They're amazing. Let's try them out. Throw them in a set. I am not only booking my circle, and my schedule shows that, so I need everyone to calm down with this. You're only booking your friends. We have booked a lot of different DJs, and a lot of different DJs have almost tried out on different nights, on off nights, to go in there. You want to go in there on a Wednesday or Thursday and throw some tracks on for the staff so they can advocate for you? Cool.
Sure.
Have it out.
Go for it.
But I am not, we are pretty much providing DJs for Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Saturday is going to be now pool party opens.
I saw that.
JP's doing the pool party. So 2 and up is going to be a DJ, but they're open for brunch. The place is amazing. The pool is full. Pool is filled. It looks great.
It looks really good.
The pool looks great. I was going to see how, we started the event when they opened the doors with no pool.
Yeah.
And then fixing sound and finding like little, kinks in the building. Your whole point of a soft opening, guys, right, is to figure out what can we do to fix or what we can do to mess around. So the venue is it's going through, it's growing, making exchanges, and I'm looking forward to either having a big grand opening and bringing in some big talent, or just continuing the path we are and just taking more and more people in and figuring out how much staff to have. I mean, there's so much behind the scenes that I don't even understand or know about. But musically, we just trying to keep it consistent. The owners want house music, and house music we are providing. We are playing from as our DJ sets go on. It is 100% house music.
That's right.
And it's all different types of house music. So you get your disco house, your tech vibes, a little bit of EDM, sprinkle in some old school, some remixes, some classics, that dance classic from 2000s, we'll drop in disco remixes. I mean, there's nothing that we're not really not playing. We haven't really jumped into a lot of trap or stuff like that, but it's not the crowd, it's not the vibe.
No, and that was I could never get into trap or dubstep. It just wasn't my style, and I like to play my style of music. And if it's, that just never, for me, I couldn't get into it. Maybe one like sub-focus track that I liked a lot.
There's still, right? So you got him, 'cause I think that's become a little more top 40 because of John Summit.
Agreed.
Bringing him in, and they do extremely well at Dare. They will sell out Dare all the dubstep and the trap guys sell out there inside or outside the pool. Every table sold. They destroy that place. It just does well. So I don't know. There's just such a particular crowd for that and a sound for it, and they just show up.
It's so aggressive, though.
What is it? Subtronics, right?
Subtronics.
Subtronics.
Yeah.
Another guy, bro. The guy sells that place.
Good
You
for
can't
him.
walk in that
Good
place.
for him. You were at Dare this weekend.
I was at Dare this
Super Bowl
weekend.
Sunday.
Super Bowl Sunday. What a great Super Bowl halftime show. You know what? Let's just dive into the halftime show.
Do it.
Dude,
Get 'em.
I think that is I don't care what any of y'all say. Stop listening to this podcast. It is top 10.
Top 10?
I loved it.
Could you rank your top favorite 3 Super Bowl performances?
This is an argument my brother have all the time because Prince is his favorite.
Prince was one of the best performances.
Listen, you're playing Purple Rain while it was raining. That is, yes, come on now. It was like
I get goosebumps just thinking about it.
No rain, and all of a sudden it just poof, just came down at the most perfect time.
Epic.
That was epic, right? So how can you beat that? You know, obviously you have the MJs, and the problem with this Super Bowl is everyone was used to that big top 40, that big sound, the big.
Yeah.
You know, you had the Beyonce and Bruno.
Yep.
An amazing show.
Great show. I
Great
love Bruno
showmanship,
Mars, though.
right?
I love Bruno.
I don't know why I have so many do not play any Bruno Mars.
Oh.
That's a whole other
Put a
topic.
pause on that. We'll come back.
We're going to come back to this topic of what the brides have been saying lately about our events. So going back to the Super Bowl, this started when the thing came on. I turned on my whole surround sound, the full blast, every room in the house. The kids were on the couches, ready to go dancing. And, mustard on the beat.
I thought it sounded great.
So excited.
The production was great. His performance was great. The fact that he had Samuel L. Jackson as Uncle Sam, I thought that was just such a cool touch.
Uncle Sam, I was
such a cool touch. The Serena Williams crip walking.
Yes, that was awesome.
Another touch that everybody had conversations. Who's he going to bring out? What song is he going to perform? And nobody had Serena Williams crip walking on their bingo card.
Nobody. Can you imagine? No, I think the only thing you could have done to make it a little more relatable to what the Gen Zers, everyone was complaining, because let's be honest, every young person in the world thought that was amazing.
Yeah.
My kids were on the set on top of the couches screaming, A minor. Everyone was, the whole stadium. Whole stadium. But I think as an artist, you guys got to understand is this guy took the vocals, rearranged some of the vocals, bleeped out a lot of the content of the vocals,
so much of it,
and took out all the curse words. Had to do this live in front of millions of people. So was it 130 something million viewed it?
One of the highest viewed.
One of the highest ever.
Yeah.
So it was such a high number, regardless, that you're having to do this and that going on in the back of your head. I still get nervous going to Dare with a 3,000 or 4,000 people. Sure. Do you imagine going into an event like that? And I'm like, wow, like as a showman, the guy crushed it.
Agreed.
Absolutely
agreed.
Saying everything perfectly, had the vibe, everyone just there. I think they could have had a better cameo. SZA.
It's because of his new album. She's one of the few features. He doesn't have a whole lot of features.
He doesn't. But he could have done something, again, throwing left field. I don't know, Van Halen. Somebody come out there and do like rock, a remix of his stuff. Because rock remixes are still kind of relevant here and there. Yeah. But I think you would have captured that extra audience that was just sitting there like, I don't understand this. I don't understand him. Then I'm like, really?
I know. But I love SZA. I love her voice. I love a lot of her songs.
She did a great job.
Yep.
But I'm just saying,
down tempo.
Could you have made it relative for all demographics?
I said it in our group text. The icing on the cake, it would have changed everybody's opinion of this performance was
Taylor Swift.
If Taylor Swift came out.
Taylor Swift and Bad Blood, I would have done it.
I mean,
she's in a damn stadium.
You would have totally changed everybody's opinion. The news headlines would have been completely opposite to what everybody's saying.
If you would have dropped Bad Blood in there, that would have been epic.
And just because it's one of my favorite songs, I would have loved to see him do Mad City.
So there was something on the other day that Blue had typed up, my boy from Atlanta, and said or posted. There was something that had to do with rights of the music. That the record label he was originally on has rights to certain songs and certain albums, and he wasn't allowed to perform any of those original tracks.
That makes sense.
And if you look at the tracks he did perform, it was
DNA,
everything after that label.
That makes sense.
But you would think the label would want that placement.
Agreed. I mean, you know, Jay-Z he produces all of the halftime shows and has for the last 8 or 9 years or so. So you would think that him in the industry and having the pull, he could have called somebody and said, "Hey,
this is what we're doing.
Let him do this."
It was a great choreography.
Agreed.
Amazing. The dancers bro, I just think it was awesome.
The PlayStation controller when Game Over
in
popped
the background,
up.
Game Over.
Oh, man.
Dude, and they had messages throughout the whole thing. They just didn't show them all. Yeah. I think there was something online. You guys can search it. All the stuff they did say was pretty awesome. I think as he put it together and the singing, I think it was phenomenal.
And for the first time, the current sitting president was in attendance.
Trump in attendance
at the Super Bowl.
Trump in attendance, and then you know what? Again, bro, love the guy. But did you really need to go poke at the Swifties again?
No.
Oh, shit. Everyone
he is
booed.
Petty as hell sometimes.
Bro, he is so petty sometimes, bro. I was like, did you really have to say that about Swifties over here? 'Cause they booed her.
I know.
So they booed Taylor. They standing ovation for the president as he came in. And then he was like, well, you know, she said a lot of bad things about me, so she gets booed. You know, where Republicans aren't as forgiving. And I'm like, oh, come on, bro. We are. Stop being so petty. Just let it go.
Let's I want to talk back on the wedding request and Bruno Mars not even creeping. He has sprinted his way to the top of the do not play list.
So as we go into our wedding categories here, I have, you know, we have a lot of like Hispanic weddings, you know, whatever. I am so across the board with my weddings. So it's not even any particular demographic that say no. It is 90% of my weddings right now say no Bruno.
Yep.
No Diddy.
No Taylor Swift.
No Taylor Swift.
Yep.
And Flacco, I'm calling you out right now, said I cannot play Suavemente at his wedding.
I got the most country playlist the other day with every formality is a country song. The song request list is country, and they even snuck in Suavemente on there,
dude.
And I was honored. But
he's Flacco, so I guess if you're a Dominican, that's a big no.
Damn.
And I never knew that. He's like, bro, you cannot play it. And he contemplated almost no Pitbull, Don Omar, like the typical stuff. I was like, no, but then I had a wedding last week that said you can play one Pitbull song.
And what'd you do?
Played 3.
My man, I'm so proud of you.
I mean, what do you don't know?
No,
it's like because he's a cameo on 3D. He's a featured artist on to every other song in the world.
Well, there's a great topic of conversation, right? So does a cameo count? If somebody says one Pitbull song, can you play?
So you play Give Me Everything.
Right.
Play, I don't know.
Yeah.
There's so many songs that he just is in the song. Necessarily, it's his track. So, yeah, I mean, you kind of blend. I don't know. I mean, people are dancing. You think that bride stopped and said, hey,
no.
I counted 2? No. You had 100 people on your wedding and 100 people were on the dance floor. Leave me alone.
That just to me, and we try to be as when it comes to the do not play list, we try to be pretty solid on that. We stick to it for the most part.
I mean, Taylor, no problem.
Right. The
no
line
Bruno
Dances,
Mars.
no Macarena. Okay,
no chicken dance.
Oh my God. I have a great remix.
Does anyone play the chicken dance? If you're still playing chicken dance, Kenny Mondo, you need to stop.
Oh, Jesus Christ. It's the song request though. The do not plays, and I tell all the brides, and you tell them the same thing. We love your song requests. Give us some awesome tips on things you have to hear. But I put more emphasis on you taking time to fill out that do not play list because, and I've had to give it an example. If you have a song that was the first dance at your wedding before this one, put it on the do not play list. There's a 90% chance I'm not going to play that song, but don't take any chances and don't give me any backstory. Just put it on the do not play.
And this particular one, I just didn't take it serious enough because the bride had said the content of Pitbull was harsh and not suitable for weddings, but the same bride had Mo Bamba on her list to play.
Yeah, when you told me that, I definitely thought that was kind of
then I was like,
very hypocritical.
What?
Yeah.
I said, I can't even take this do not playlist serious at this time, because if your top list had 3 extremely inappropriate hip hop songs, even a clean version was questionable for content, and you think Pitbull's content, I'm just kind of lost on that.
What do you think about song requests that lean more towards like the anti-wedding message? And I'm trying to think of an example, but I was going through somebody else's list.
with the groom's bride is
yeah, well, I have an awesome remix of that thanks to DJ DeVille, but I'm talking that's a great example though of something that is like anti-wedding.
I had a bride's mom come up to me and she goes, "Did you really just play that?" And the lady like lost her mind.
Yeah.
I was like, "Ma'am, this is completely clean."
Yep.
The guest saying those curse words.
But it's I want
before he cheats.
No,
would you play that during a cocktail hour?
Hell no.
I did that once.
But Jesus Christ. But there are so many country songs, and I unfortunately.
The problem is every country song is about, somebody cheating, breaking somebody's windows.
And being from Caucasia, I get a lot of country song list brides and country weddings.
Striker, you definitely do all my super.
Like I said, being from Caucasia
super
and very,
white
very
people
Caucasian.
Weddings. Let's just call it what it is. You do the white people
It's
weddings.
An honor and a privilege.
It's an honor and a privilege.
It is an honor and a privilege.
I got you.
But I am your white friend's favorite Latin DJ.
Facts.
But I get a lot of these country weddings, and some of the songs that are country songs are just, they're not love songs. There's no emphasis on this is a romantic night or we're here to have fun. There's usually something horrible that's happened, and I try not to play those songs. But I mean,
it's the problem is it's crazy because again, we follow the do not playlist again to the point, and then you're just so surprised about the playlist. Now we do have those brides that just surprise you and have the most epic request list ever. And we share them in like every group chat. We're like, "Did you see this wedding?"
Absolutely.
And everybody wants to go to it. I was like, "Can I go with you?"
Yep.
Because we have an opportunity just to do whatever, know.
Right.
So that's amazing. I mean,
that's the freedom we want. That's really what we want to do as DJs is to be able to have the creative freedom to play what we know is going to work and make people dance. That's
people refer. So a great part about our business, and when it comes to the DJ part of it, I know we do so much here, but as a DJ, we referred to someone has referred me to you, or you were at an event I just played at.
Yep.
So a lot of people don't question what we're gonna play or how we play it. They just want to fine tune, right? Where I love what you played at this wedding. I just want to do this. Also add a little more this, and I'm like, cool, love it. At least we have a base and where to go.
Mm-hmm.
It's the left fielders that call me, and then I'm like, "Striker, I need your help."
or a bossa nova request.
I don't even know what bossa nova is. Okay, so how many people out there know what the category bossa nova is?
And
I had
send
no
us
clue.
your favorite bossa nova
send me a bossa nova mix. I get these random calls. I don't know. We're working really well with a lot of big planners, a lot of venues that are opening. We had an opportunity to bid a couple things.
New Year's Eve was a blast.
New Year's Eve. We haven't even been on a podcast since New Year's Eve. And it's been so long. I am such a slacker on social media, and I really got to get better. And now we have a couple of people helping run our social medias.
Yep.
So you'll see a little bit of influx on that. But the hardest thing about it is just being consistent. It's doing it every single day. And I even had a new guy that's in we've been following him in the real estate industry.
Mm-hmm.
Loan officer, and he posts like one post a day of his family, one post a day on his Lamborghini, which still floors me, and then 3 posts about mortgages, right, about the market, and he does that every single day, and every day he posts one thing. It's one post a day, which I don't find difficult.
No,
I thought you had to post multiple times a day.
No,
I'm not sure the algorithm, but he's been doing what I see consistently. It's just every day, and that's the hardest part. Is I'm like, man, how can I post DJ content every single day without posting a mix or posting a picture of myself? And I hate doing that.
I know.
The little photo shoots that we do for flyers and stuff like that, I just hate doing it. And, like we don't have a flyer for Roxy's. I post a picture of myself. See you at Roxy's.
I told you to handwrite one.
That's the next flyer. I'm going to hand a napkin at Roxy's tonight here. I'm going to hold it up like a sign.
Do it, yeah.
We get to the point where it's like, what are you doing? What are we doing? And at least when social media starts to come around, we want to trend. You want to have the followers. But I don't know if that's going to affect us as a mobile DJ. I think that's more for the club entertainment, how many followers or whatever. Like, I don't know. Like, is it different? Do you think it's different when it comes to the mobile stuff too?
I hope so, because for two reasons. Number one, you and I, our business social media, our business Instagrams don't have a huge following because they're kind of in their infant stage. We started them 2, 3, 4 years ago.
Right.
And so we haven't put the effort into growing those. And number one. Number two, can you really use that as a guideline on somebody's reputation as their Instagram followers?
I've had several people call me, what's your Instagram? How many followers you have, to see if you want to DJ my wedding. I'm like, what? I just give him Alex's.
Yeah, there you go. If that's important to you, then
if that's important to you, call this guy.
Yeah.
It's just crazy to me that some people ask for that, but I don't think I need to have 100 million followers, guys. I am just your local DJ.
And maybe for clubs obviously want to see, if you're going to promote their post, how many people are going to show up.
If I had 100,000 or 50,000 followers, clubs, you're not getting booked at your local watering hole.
No.
You're not going to afford what I want to get to be able to promote to those people. Right. So again, you have to be pay per skill.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
The veterans, the new guys, whatever you want to call it, you got to pay for the skill a little bit, right? Yep. I still believe in that. Paying for somebody who just knows what the hell they're doing, how to control the crowd in front of you. There's a monetary benefit to that. Keeping people in your venue.
Yeah.
There's also a benefit to almost here. You want to save money? Here's this guy.
Right.
Then you hear the complaints. Okay, never mind. Now I understand why I pay you for this. But then you also book a $10,000 DJ who just does horribly, which I've had a couple of experiences like that. And again, where do you go?
No, I know. I don't think you can put a monetary value on popularity. It has to be based on how good you are, your talent, your skills. And you can't translate that into a number of followers or
not really. Not if you're big into social media. I hate social media. I have Facebook. I'm a Facebook. I love my
He's
Facebook.
Maxed out on Facebook.
I am maxed out on Facebook, guys. I'm kidding. It's like, so and again, without starting a band page or DJ Reflex page, it's so stupid.
And that's another thing to keep up with.
Yeah, and then for mortgages, we're supposed to have a mortgage site as well. It's just it becomes a lot.
No,
it becomes a lot. But it's been nice, kind of getting back in the chair. Coming back. I guess we do 1.2 episode 1.2. Is this the redo?
I think we made it to like episode 12 or something.
I don't know.
I'll go back and I don't know. Maybe it'll be like a season 2. Episode 1.
Season 2. We were on break.
Thank God. All right,
season
that's what
2.
It was.
Okay, so here we go. Season 2,
episode 1.
Episode 1.
We are back.
We're back. So we'll do seasons. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do 12 episodes. Then we're gonna start season 2. This is why
we talk shit out, so we can figure it out.
Should we talk? Everyone's like, do you have a script? No, we don't talk a script. We just get in here and just talk. It's so we just come up with an idea. Boom. So season 2, episode 1. And I think that was a great show to start the new year, and we'll come up this year. We'll do like a reel of things upcoming.
Yeah,
definitely a lot of people want to guest this year. Different areas, maybe more events.
Yeah, we've been talking about how we needed to get R1 on the podcast from his side. I mean, he's got so much.
He's gonna
so much knowledge to talk about.
Javier is coming back. Javier is starting a podcast as well. We have a podcast room now in my mortgage office that we'll be doing podcasts out of. So that's going to be interesting. Hopefully Javier crushes it on that.
Yeah, we got to light a fire under him.
Yep.
Get him moving. You know how he likes to get distracted.
Yeah, I don't even know where he's at. So we are using his office though. So thank Javier for not being in the office today.
Thanks for making this happen.
Yeah, man.
We'll see you again next week.
We'll see you guys next week. We'll keep recording. Enjoy the episode. Season 2 episode.